When I'm the governor of the state of Illinois, from the very first second I take the oath of office all the way through the 4 years I'm the governor, I'm going to get up in the morning and go to bed at night focused on how we put more Illinoisans back to work. I've traveled around Illinois quite a bit, and the one thing that I find is common, whether you're up on the Wisconsin border or clear down by the Kentucky border, is the fact that people want to have a job.
There is no higher priority for me as your governor than to move that unemployment rate we have in this state down. I intend to have jobs. The priorities are going to be jobs and jobs and jobs, and the reason is all this stuff that we're dealing with at the Capitol right now for the administration there, and the whole idea of our unfunded liability and pensions, it'll be made better when more people are working. I don't like it when I talk to a business person and she tells me that she's concerned about hiring 1 or 2 more people in her small 5 to 7 person business because she's not sure where we're going from an economic standpoint for the future of her business. I don't like that.
You know, my mom and dad had a small business, a pizza restaurant. And I know how hard it is when you have to go in on a Saturday morning to make the dough, or you stay late on a Friday night to clean up afterwards and meet the salesman when they deliver the product. It's not easy having a small business. Today, it was hard then, it's hard today.
This governor, his priority is going to be about the small business. The one that's hiring 3 or 4, or maybe has as many as 25 people working for him. I'm talking about the beautician that's got 3 chairs and she'd like to put in a 4th chair. I'm talking about the auto mechanic that's got 2 people that changes oil and rotates tires, and he or she may want to put on 1 more employee. I'm talking about restaurants. I'm talking about the hospitality industry. I'm talking about tourism. We don't have a governor right now that's an advocate for the goodness and the great people of the state of Illinois. I'm going to be that governor.
I want to take my 90 seconds with you to tell you a little who I am. I grew up here in central Illinois, and my mom and dad had a pizza restaurant. Had to work during that time and had to wash dishes and wait on tables. I actually was making change as a young kid without a computer telling me how much change to hand back to people.
I went to school at Illinois State University, and my mom and dad had enough financial assistance to help me my first semester, but after that I paid my entire way through college.
I worked at Avani's, and I shoveled asphalt during the summers, and that's how I paid my way through college.
I then went on to have the opportunity to join a very large company called ServiceMaster.
I've been a vice president of ServiceMaster for 25 years, based in DuPage County. I happen to be a downstater with my career in the suburban area. I was responsible to take our businesses to new markets. So I was responsible to help our company expand globally.
I've traveled to countries all around the world that is somewhat of a representation of the mosaic of the diversity of Illinois. People of different religions, people of different skin colors, people of different mother country origins than where I came from. And
I'd been out there for many years. I was 25 years.
And the latter part of that 25 years, I also was elected to the Illinois State House, and I didn't leave the private sector. I got elected to the Senate, and I didn't leave the private sector, and yes, it was hard. It was hard to work in the private sector and not miss any session in Springfield and take care of your constituents.
You're
Absolutely.
predicting today, October 12th, 2008.
2008, that there will be Republicans elected on the statewide ticket in 2010. I am predicting.
State Senator Dan Rutherford announces his campaign to seek the Republican nomination for state treasurer.
Keep in mind, when I ran in 2010, every single constitutional officer in the state of Illinois was a Democrat from Chicago. My opponent was an African-American female from the city of Chicago, Democrat, with an Irish last name. And people looked at me and said, how are you going to do this? You're a central Illinois. You're a Republican. You're white. You're conservative. And we worked it hard. Hello there, I'm State Senator Dan Rutherford, running for Illinois State Treasurer. It's great to be back in Hillsborough here. We're celebrating a wonderful, nice evening parade. What's your name?
My name's Luke.
And I'm here with my buddy Luke. It was a seat that I wasn't supposed to win, and I did. I got 50% of the vote in a four-way race. I got 66,000 more votes for treasurer than Pat Quinn got winning the governor's race.
4 years ago, I pledged to protect your wallet, and I have.
I think it's about time that the state's chief financial officer stand up and be vocal about what the one-party dominance has done to the state of Illinois. And as state treasurer, I do intend to use that bully pulpit for an office, as a part of the office,
and how it relates to jobs.
In my opinion, it's because we've got one party in control.
And I happen to be one of the only Republicans elected statewide here in the state of Illinois, and I see a part of my role is to represent the other side of the debate. I'm not looking at the state of Illinois issuing new debt without having a plan in place to do it. And this is where I think it's important to have the other side of the debate. We've not had a Republican on the statewide stage that's been able to articulate from the finance side of it some of the opposition that the Democratic majority has had here in the state of Illinois. This state treasurer is pulling the fire alarm. It is an absolute travesty of a fiscal disaster if we borrow more money in the state of Illinois. $42,000 per household is what you're on the hook for because of Illinois' insatiable appetite of spending and borrowing.
That sounds insurmountable. $42,000 per person just at the state level. Is there a fix for this?
Well, there's a couple things that have to be done. Number one is stop the addiction of debt and borrowing in the state of Illinois. And number two, do not spend more than what the revenues projected to be coming in are. I mean, if you don't start from those basics, you can never be able to solve this problem. Enough is enough. We should not be looking to borrow money for future generations to pay off for the operations of government today.
That state is, quote, on the verge of financial disaster, and he refuses to borrow any more money. So let's see what Democrat State Representative Jack Franks has to say.
He's 100% right. We should not be digging ourselves into a deeper debt right now.
You're saying that the Republican, Dan Rutherford, he's right. That's what you're saying.
He's 100% right.
Here, the governor's proposed budget in the state of Illinois was $1.7 billion more in spending than the previous year. The governor's proposed budget is $2.4 billion greater than anticipated revenue. You know, it's pretty simple, and I don't want to make it so elementary, but it's pretty simple. You don't spend more than you did the previous year, and you absolutely don't spend more than the cash anticipated to come in. Illinois has just got to get off of the addiction of debt.
We got a standoff here, obviously. The governor says we got to borrow more money, and you say, you're the state treasurer, oh no, we must not borrow more money, we're facing financial crisis. I'm saying that Illinois has hit the debt wall. The crunch is right now because you've got this standoff between you and the governor. Is that accurate?
I would say that if it does whatever it takes to keep Illinois from going into further debt, we need to be looking at as policymakers.
The governor, during his address in the General Assembly this session, said he wanted to borrow another $8.7 billion to pay for bills. I said that's just a non-starter. We are one of the lowest rated states in the entire nation. I just announced that I'm cutting my budget voluntarily, the state treasurer, the only constitutional to do this. And in doing that, it's just infinitesimal compared to the biggest problem out there. The income tax increase is 67%, as you noted. That's not going to fix the problem. You can go and get rid of half the state institutions. It won't fix the problem. Until Illinois realizes, policymakers understand that the state retirement system has got to be changed, we're not going to be able to resolve this whole issue.
Well, the state of Illinois is grappling with a budget deficit of close to $8 billion. In an attempt to get their finances under control, Governor Quinn levied a 67% income tax increase. So, you know, that move has compelled major Illinois-based corporations like Caterpillar and Sears to threaten a move of their own to move.
There are realities there, but I think if anything else, it sends a flaming arrow over the bow of public policymakers in Illinois that there are companies that are very much being affected by this, and it's not in a positive way. You know, when you do things like raising the income taxes, it has its consequences. Companies that have the ability to be able to relocate in not only other parts of America but other parts of the world are going to do it.
We're going to do it.
Got some comments coming out within the last hour from Rahm Emanuel, some comments he made here in Chicago saying that he actually agrees with you.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think maybe some would be surprised, coming from a Democrat, that he would say, well, actually, you're right. This business does maybe pay an unfair burden of its share of taxes for the state of Illinois.
The Illinois Governor Pat Quinn gave Sears, along with the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, some tax breaks to stay in the state. This is a victory for Mr. Rutherford. Do you think this kind of solves the problem for now? In other words, we won't hear stories about companies wanting to pack up and leave the state of Illinois and go somewhere else.
No, actually I don't. These were one-off for those specific companies. It didn't change the policy overall. It is absolutely not the most efficient way to run government. We should change the Constitution, consolidate the Office of Treasurer with the Office of Comptroller into one finance officer.
And then you and Judy fight it out, right?
I ain't having to fight with Judy. Public safety and education opportunities for not just young people, but mature older people is a very important thing to happen. So we need to start to prioritize, and those two are very important to have happen. Not one time did I vote for a budget that did not fully fund the state pensions.
And as I said earlier, it's time for the politicians to sit down and the statesmen to stand up.
In spring of 2011, I issued my report on no more debt. And in that, I specifically said we have to address the problem in the unfunded liability in the state public pension systems, and the other was on the outstanding bills that are still yet to be paid. Now they have consequences. The consequences have now come.
The warning came Saturday from State Treasurer Dan Rutherford.
We are now looking at a dire situation.
The Standard & Poor's downgrade from A to A- puts Illinois last on the list behind California.
Our problem in Illinois is the fact that we have not substantively and fairly addressed the state public pension issue.
Rutherford points to Governor Quinn and the democratically controlled General Assembly for making matters worse in the last 2 years, raising taxes in the state, but not acting on pension reform.
That your pension fund, they say, is only 35% funded. They consider 80% to be healthy.
I happen to have gotten elected here in 2010, the first Republican in the state of Illinois in quite some time. So the role I've been playing literally for the last 2 years is, I don't want to call it pulling the fire alarm, but pointing out the type of things that you just highlighted.
8 times since the income tax increase went into effect, the administration has said that we are going to resolve the state public pension system. 8 times when it didn't happen, Standard & Poor's, Moody's, and Fitch issued some negative issuance on our state.
Everything should be on the table. There's no question. Everything should be on the table. But no matter how much one gets lathered up over this and how many sound bites other people may put out there, if it's not constitutional, it doesn't matter what you pass.
What we're about to do in March is nominate our standard bearer to take us into November of 2014 to actually have the best shot in a long time to allow the Republican Party to earn the right to govern. I've been in 102 counties of 102 counties. I've been to every single one of your counties around the state. Whether it's been me working to help elect county board members, county officers, township officials, state representatives, senators, or congressmen. I've invested my time into helping build the Republican Party for years and years.
Now, can the Republican Party in Illinois be revived? Because it is either dead, or so it seems to the pundits, or it is on life support. Senator Dan Rutherford, is it dead? Can it be revived?
No, it's not dead. Yes, it can be revived. I was the executive director of Illinois for the Reagan campaign. But the reason that's important to reflect upon is the same thing in the nation, and the pendulum has swung.
I've been with you when I was a candidate for treasurer. I was with you when I was the chairman to help elect a Republican president for the United States.
I'm the chairman of the Romney campaign here in the state of Illinois.
The treasurer's been with me for years. He doesn't look that old, but he's been with me for years. A man of great enthusiasm, passion, commitment, capability. Doing a great job as treasurer. I'm delighted to have his support and have his chairmanship of my campaign here in the state.
The treasurer is in charge of the pancakes, all right? Actually, he's one of the great leaders in our party. You know that, enthusiastic, powerful, energetic, overseeing the treasury here in this state. I'm glad we got a few people up the state capitol that are taking care of the people's business, and this is one of the best that you could possibly have. I appreciate his leadership in my campaign and for Illinois. Thank you, Dan Rutherford. To be here with my chairman and your treasurer, this guy, Dan Rutherford. This guy is just absolutely amazing. The energy and passion of Treasurer Rutherford has been extraordinary for me in the past, and it is this year, and it's the reason we're going to win Illinois on Tuesday. What a night. Thank you, Illinois. What a night. Wow.
I've been a citizen legislator. I don't have to have training wheels when I get to Springfield. I know the folks down there. I know the process, including the complicated ones, Jack, in regards to administrative code. I know that. I don't need that. I'm a citizen legislator. I know how to do it. I'm a business guy. I've opened businesses where the minority of the people there are white. I've opened businesses in countries where Christianity was the minority. The diversity and the complexity of the mosaic of the state of Illinois will get a good guy that understands that when they get Rutherford as governor. I'm a reasonable Republican. That's why I win. A Republican that can win in this not blue but dark purple state and been able to do it in Chicago, the suburbs, and downstate. I want your vote to be the Republican nominee for governor.
Republican You want a standard bearer come March? You want the man that's going to put us in the mansion because of November 15? I'm going to be the guy.